Let's have a call in. There's a fellow that was in Trafalgar Square today. Pete.
Hello. First-time caller, please be gentle with me.
Good man. So what happened in Trafalgar Square then? What can you tell us?
Well, it was a very peaceful and, I think, rejuvenating for people who, like yourself, who has just regaled the country in the ridiculous ludicrousness of government coronavirus measures. I think everybody came together and sort of voiced their opinion on those matters.
Yeah, right. And was anybody wearing a mask?
Well, the police who were on site were wearing masks.
Yeah.
However, the police who pulled up in a van around the corner got out of the van and then put their masks on. So obviously, coronavirus is very clever. It doesn't exist in police vans, it does exist on the streets of London.
Is that true? So they weren't wearing it in the van, but as soon as they exited the van into outside, then they put them on.
Exactly.
That seems illogical.
Well, if we're looking for logic in any of the arguments presented by the government, I think we'll be looking for a long time, won't we?
Yeah. Now, the problem that everything that you just said seems reasonable, but the problem that people have with the gathering that was in Trafalgar Square is a lot of the people who were speaking there don't seem reasonable at all. In fact, they seem to be, away with the fairies.
Okay. Like who?
Well, like all of them. Like all of the people that were supposed to be speaking.
You must have to give me a name. Well, must be one person who you know by name who's away with the fairies.
All of the people that were on the poster advertising this event. David Icke's name wasn't on there, oddly. But all of the people that were on there, they've all got a reputation, like a bad smell, trailing behind them.
Well, you would have to ask, why is it the mainstream media, the Telegraph, the Daily Mail, the Express, the BBC and ITV, why have they not got a massive bad smell behind them at the moment? Because all they've done is fed us a load of lies since March this year.
Yeah.
So let's not talk about bad smells from so-called people on a poster. Let's talk about the bad smells from the people who people are supposed to trust and believe and are supposed to be a good source of information for us.
Okay, so you've just listed a rainbow of sources, many of which don't agree with each other on anything. So what lies is it that you think organisations as disparate as the BBC, the Guardian, and the Mail and the Telegraph have agreed with each other to tell us?
I wouldn't actually specifically say there are lies. I say they're focusing on the incorrect truths. So yourselves as well.
Wait, back up. What's the difference between an incorrect truth and a lie?
An irrelevant truth. Sorry.
Right.
It was just a bad choice of words there, I guess.
Okay.
So I'm driving to work the other day, listening to LBC, and it comes on the radio, and the only news they had about coronavirus was India had now reached 3 million cases of coronavirus. What relevance of that is that to me in this country, you know?
Well, it depends on whether you are interested in people. I mean, the people that live in India, they're people too.
Absolutely, and 3 million cases is serious. However, I'm having to deal with the day-to-day of not being able to go and have a cup of tea with my mum in her back garden, whilst simultaneously she's allowed to have guests in her bed and breakfast from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, right.
Where's the logic in that?
Well, I can't see the logic in that. Yeah.
No, there is no logic in it, is there?
Well, I guess I guess that's a decision that has been made on economic grounds. You aren't providing any economic benefit by having a cup of tea with your mum, but the business that your mother is running does provide an economic benefit.
I could argue that I'm having a long-term economic benefit on her because hopefully that my wonderful presence would give her a few more precious moments on this planet and she would be able to generate a little bit more revenue for the government while she's still here.
Well, that's an interesting way to think about your mother. But I get your point.
It was tough love in our house. What can I say?
So, I mean, some of the speakers there, they did seem to be. I mean, come on, you're a reasonable, intelligent man. I mean, some of the speakers, the stuff that they come out with was just. I mean, who can believe that stuff? I mean, come on.
Absolutely. I was just waiting for David Icke to bring the aliens out and thinking, no, he's going to leave that large piece of excrement in the middle of the punch.
Yeah.
He's just done a beautiful speech about COVID, and now he's just start talking about aliens, but he didn't.
But that doesn't mean.
And everything that he said was very relevant.
Yes, but you can't. You can't dismiss that was a man who does believe that the royal family are shape-shifting aliens. So everything that he says subsequent to saying that is tinged with that thought. No.
Of course it is. But we have exactly the same situation on a day-to-day basis with our politicians.
Yeah.
Maybe not to the extreme levels that they think, as extreme as the royal family being shape-shifting reptilians, however. But,
I mean, if somebody does say that out loud, it is rather difficult to take them seriously, don't you think?
On that specific matter, I absolutely do. We had a doctor who stood up in front of Capitol Hill a couple of months ago and spoke about hydroxychloroquine.
This thing that Donald Trump keeps banging on about.
And that's right, yeah. And then immediately all the press were flinging dirt at her because at the same time, while she is a doctor, and she's been a doctor for years and years and years, on the other hand, she's a minister in the church, and she had very interesting ideas about demons and those sorts of things. Yeah?
Right. Again, rather difficult. Yeah, but rather difficult to take somebody seriously if they start talking about that stuff. And just because,
if you're religious, it's not.
But
not if you live your life by the Bible, it's not.
Yeah. Okay, but you can't mix religion and medicine. One is based on fact, and the other is based on made up stories, and whether you believe them or not. And just because somebody is a doctor doesn't mean to say that they're right about anything. I mean, Dr. Mengele was a doctor. Harold Shipman, the world's most prolific serial killer, was a doctor.
Well, he would have fit right into this government right now, because he would have done the 520,000.
Right. All right. Thanks a lot, Pete. That went better than I expected it to. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. That was about the gathering in Trafalgar Square, the anti-mask, anti-COVID-19 conspiracy theorists. And I guess I'll talk a little bit more about that after the news.